Buenos dias, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Trump has loaded, aimed, and fired his Twitter gun at the Democrats once again, and they just can't handle it. What did Jack Nicholson tell us? You can't handle the truth. And apparently these fools cannot. So Trump tweeted out to Representative Elijah Cummings that maybe he should clean up his rat-infested, crime-infested city of Baltimore before he starts poking holes in the situation at the border. Now, this is the same Elijah Cummings who a few months back was in the House of Representatives and was crying, yes, shedding tears for the kids separated from their parents at the border. So you can get up there and cry and just be so distraught and overcome with emotion for these foreign-born kids that you cry. Yet, in your district, you have maintained over 300 homicides a year. That's almost a murder a day. I read a statistic that said half of the homicides in Baltimore were headshots. So it was an execution. Half of those murders, people were shot in the head. They wanted to make sure they were dead. I didn't see you shed any tears for that little girl in Baltimore, little 7-year-old girl who was sitting in the back seat with her hood rat ass mama and her ghetto ass gangbanging boyfriend. And she got shot and killed because of what her mama's boyfriend was doing. I didn't see you crying over that shit. Do you cry over the neighborhoods in your district where 51% of the people there have no job? They're unemployed? Where unemployment in Baltimore is at 22%. That's damn near 1 out of 4 people where you represent have no fucking job. Are you crying over the fact that 42% of welfare recipients are children? Did you cry over that, Elijah? Did you cry when they had those stupid-ass riots and stupid-ass protests over Freddie Gray? Did you cry when people were worried that their kids wouldn't eat because some of those kids only get food from school? Yeah, schools were shut down when those stupid Freddie Gray riots happened, and people were worried because the schools were closed and they couldn't send their kids there to get food. Now, is that the school's fault? No. That's a whole other subject. Free lunch. If you can't afford to feed your child lunch, I would take my daughter. She went to this other school when she was in TK. And I would get there at about 7:20 in the morning, and there were children there standing in line for breakfast. Those children's first meal was at school. It costs less than $2 a day to feed your kid lunch. You can't, look, I don't know everybody's situation in Jericho, this happened, that happened. From my perspective, my experience in life, I don't think we should have free lunch for kids at school. We need to lean on the parents to feed their damn kids. How much does it cost to put a sandwich, some fruit, some chips, and a treat in a bag? And maybe a little note that says, "Have a nice day, I love you." How much does that cost? Because that's what my parents did every day. My mom worked every day. But the night before, she would pack me a lunch. She would wrap my sandwich in wax paper, little tuna fish, slice of lettuce on there, nice soft white bread. She'd wrap it up in wax paper right on there. "I love you. Have a nice day." Little juice box. My mom did it. Why can't your mom do it? Sometimes when my mom did it, maybe she was sick or something, my dad made my lunch. Why can't your dad do that? But anyway, like I said, that's a whole separate video. But everybody's up in arms. Everybody's outraged. Everybody's calling Trump. What? Go ahead. I'm not even going to say it. You know what they're calling him. That R word. Because he happened to have the gall, the balls, the nerve to say something negative to a POC. Well, this POC is also a POS. This fool has been in Congress since 1996. And Baltimore is a shithole. Don't take my word for it. Pause this video right now. Go Google Baltimore poverty. And if you didn't know you were looking at a major American city, you would think that was downtown fucking Rio de Janeiro or New Delhi somewhere. All these bombed out looking buildings, empty buildings, uninhabitable. Speaking of uninhabitable, that's right, your boy, Bernie Sanders. That little liver-spotted turd. In 2015, he went through Baltimore. He took a walk. You know, Freddie Gray was going on, so they all had to descend on wherever the racism was happening. So he walks through Baltimore and he said, if you walked where we walked, you would think this was a third world country. He said there are kids here with less of a life expectancy than people in North fucking Korea. He said, and I quote, it's a disgrace. Now, even if Trump had said those exact same words, he would be called what? I'm not even going to say it. You already know. But even Bernie Sanders, even Hugo Chavez's wet dream, Bernie Sanders, said that Baltimore is all fucked up. And my mom's from Baltimore. I went there in 2003. Cummings has been in charge since 1996. I went there in 2003. So that's 7 years under his reign. Man, I've never seen no shit like that before in my life. What did Cheech say in Up in Smoke? I've never seen no shit like that before in my life. Same here. That was the first time I saw like hardcore drugs dealt in real life. This dude pulls up. Here's a routine. And my mom's cousin lived there. It's one of those situations where the neighborhood used to be nice, but now it's all fucked up. She still lives there. She owns a home there. So down on the corner, about 50 yards away, you had all the dope boys. And at the time, all the dope boys had long t-shirts, long white t-shirts. So these fools are out there selling dope. There's little kids on bicycles riding around, the lookouts. The cops come, the lookouts let the dudes know, they all scatter. 10 seconds later, here comes a police car rolling through the intersection. Once the cop goes, the dope boys come back out. So I saw this guy right in front of my cousin's house. Dude pulls up in a pickup truck. It's him in the driver's seat, and his son is sitting right next to him. Well, the way he pulls up, the drug dealer was on the passenger side window. So he has to reach across this dude's son to hand him the dope. This dude was buying dope literally right in front of his child. That's Baltimore. My cousin took me through parts of town. He said, we can't stop. We can't stop. That's fucking Baltimore. 2,000 homeless children. That's Baltimore. Look at the pictures. Google Baltimore poverty. And the Johns Hopkins University did a study. And the study was basically, how positive do young people feel about their outcome? How do they feel about where they are in life and their environment? They interviewed over 24,000 young people ages 15 to 19. Some were in Baltimore, some were in New Delhi, some were in Nigeria, Johannesburg, South Africa, all these poor places across the world. Famously poor. The kids in New Delhi and Nigeria had a more positive outlook on their life than children in America. In Baltimore, 50% of young women in Baltimore have reported a pregnancy. Is that you going to work, Elijah Cummings? Because that's what Trump was saying. Sweep around your own back door before you try to sweep around mine. Trump was handed this fucking trash bag full of diarrhea called the situation at the border, called our immigration problems. He's handed this bag of shit. And you're going to sit there and talk about there's concentration camps. The Border Patrol agents are Nazis. These people are dying in their care. Basically calling them murderers. When your district is full of murderers. Baltimore has had the highest homicide rate in the country a few times. More than Detroit and Chicago. You know you're fucked up when you got more wrong shit going on than Chicago. But Trump's a racist for calling it like it is. He called it rat infested and rodent infested. When you have thousands of condemned buildings with trash in them, what the fuck are you gonna have? Rodents. They act like Trump is saying this earth-shattering shit that has never been said before, and there's no proof to back up what he's saying. There is. Baltimore is a crime-ridden city. I've seen it. I've seen them. I've seen the shit with my own two eyes. My cousin and I were parked, well, not parked, but it was traffic. We're dead stop, sitting there. This girl, this young woman, walks by. Tight clothes, nice body, pretty face. And he was like, hey, you see that girl? I was like, yeah. He said, you know what they do? They get some little hottie walking through. Somebody to say, hey, you need a ride? Yeah, I need a ride. I live right over here. If you show it, what happens? You get lumped over your head and robbed. Maybe shot. In Baltimore, that sounds like some shit you would hear about in like some tourist city in a poor country. Like Juarez or Tijuana. Don't talk to any hot girls in Tijuana, you'll get robbed. No, that shit's happening in America. You drive by people, what do they call them, brownstones, or the houses with little stoops in front. That's some East Coast shit. You don't have that out here in California. You drive by, you see people been evicted, the whole pile of shit right there on the sidewalk. Trash in the streets. Terrible. I'll tell you another story. And I was in Baltimore for like a week. Look at all these fucked up stories I have to tell. My stepdad and I were in a liquor store. We're standing in line, and that's another thing. Everything is behind bulletproof glass. Democrat-run city, bulletproof glass. Everything, liquor stores, takeout places, anything in the hood, and you gotta exchange money for goods, that shit's behind bulletproof glass. So we're standing in line. A dude about two guys behind us. There's a black dude, about two people behind us. And there's a white guy, about two people in front of us. In my experience, the only time you saw white people in the hood, they were buying drugs. So this white dude has a piece of paper sticking out of his back pocket. This black dude behind us comes up to where he's parallel with us. He leans forward and looks, and he goes, out loud, like he's sitting in his home by himself. Out loud, this fool says, oh, I thought that was some money. I was about to rob that motherfucker. End quote. Out loud. That speaks to the mentality. That says we're used to violence here. That says generations of fuck life. And then he responds to Trump's tweet, oh, I return home to my district every night, Mr. President, and it's my constitutional duty to serve my constituents, blah, blah, blah. Shut your ass up. You ain't serving shit but yourself. How are you in charge of something since 1996 and it gets worse? Sounds to me like you need to be removed. You're not doing your job. And like Trump said, where is all the money going? I would beg the same question here in California. Top 5 economy in the world. Shitty roads, shitty schools, shitty infrastructure. Where is the money going? We are taxed at 13% on top of the average 14% for an American. Where is all the money going? I don't see any results. But they're calling Trump a racist, and just like a week ago when he told 4 members the 4 horrors of the apocalypse. Same thing for them. Poverty, crime, drugs, lack of prosperity in all their districts. But you want to take a trip down to the Mexican-American border and talk shit. Why don't you go talk some shit to the criminals in your district, Maxine Waters? Where over 90% of children in your district can't do math at grade level? Go talk some shit to them. Go talk some shit to these drug dealers that have these neighborhoods hostage. Tell them that they're running concentration camps. Tell them that they're responsible for deaths. You know why? Because they are. Trump is getting sick of this shit, and so are we. And what you're saying isn't even true. Concentration camp? Again, the American version of what they're saying is better than what these people come from. If this is a concentration camp and I'm from one of their countries, put me in a fucking concentration camp. Because these concentration camps have shelter, food, water, air conditioning, and medical care. That's why they're here, right? They're not getting those things in their country. That's why they're coming here. These people are full of shit. You're going to cry over some kids that aren't even from here and shit on the kids who were born here. Shit on the kids who are under your fucking governing, who are under your, I guess you can call it control. You're shitting on us as Americans to take care of some motherfuckers who shouldn't even be here. Elijah Cummings, Baltimore is fucked up. It is crime infested. It is rodent infested. Fix it. You've been on the clock since 1996, you piece of shit. Now, despite my current blood pressure, it is my Friday. I'm about to go on my weekend. So let me finish up this damn rat race. You know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, utilize the PayPal link and the Teespring link to get your green gear. And before I go, shout out to the Classic Metal Show. I did an interview on there yesterday. Dudes are intelligent, awesome, prepared, funny. Please check them out. Classic Metal Show. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.